Suspended Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane has reiterated her stance that the parliamentary inquiry into her suitability to hold office cannot proceed until she is legally represented in those proceedings. This after it emerged that the State Attorney's Office will not represent her, as Mkhwebane has declined their services, citing a conflict of interest. The State Attorney's Office has confirmed that it will not then proceed for ethical reasons. It says she has declined their services and wants to choose new attorneys from the database of the Office of the Public Protector. Mkhwebane has also requested the inquiry chairperson Qubudile Dyantyi to recuse himself following allegations she's made of attempted bribery against late ANC MP Joemat Pettersson, Dyantyi and ANC Chief Whip Pemmy Majodina. Let's get more on this with SABC News' reporter Bulelani Philip. Very good afternoon to you, Bulelani. What's the latest?
Well, good afternoon to you, Zinga, and to the viewers at home. Of course, the issue of legal representation for the suspended Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane taking the center stage again this morning, even though we expected that we would be continuing with evidence as well as that of the evidence leaders. But the person who knows the story better is the chairperson of the Section 194 committee, Mr. Qubudile Dyantyi. Are you still in control of this committee? Because we keep coming here for arguing or hearing about the issue of or the lack of legal representation for the Public Protector.
We're still on top of our work. Our work has been from start, when they came and said we're here under protest, has been punctuated by a lot of off-ramps. But we have navigated many of those off-ramps. The legal representation issue would have been a latest off-ramp, because there would have been many before that. Non-payment, no fees, an increase in fees once the team is appointed with the other advocates. And so I would have started here today and said, as I did on Wednesday, that these are the steps that we have done. And every time we solve an issue, there's a new hurdle being put in place.
Do you see these as delaying tactics as the committee?
Well, we've gone through them for the past 11 months now. And in some ways, I would have described this as a deflection and delay strategy. And we see through that. And therefore, part of what we're doing today and agreed as a way forward is that we're proceeding with this inquiry in a different manner. Not the ideal thing that would have been mapped out, but more of a practical arrangement to say from today we are expecting the Public Protector to be answering questions that are going to come to her from members and evidence leaders, and I would do that in writing in terms of the timelines in a letter when those responses are needed, and from there how we're going to deliberate as the committee, then constitute a draft report that will prepare to the National Assembly. But we also indicated that anything she has not said, especially after the 31st of March, we're now giving her an opportunity to place that on record and in writing to us, or when we avail that moment for oral closing arguments, they can still do that. So we're seeing to get the same results with a different process.
The other issue, again, that's the elephant in the room. I'll start with this issue that you had given her an opportunity to bring her fresh recusal application, and she's arguing that she can't bring any recusal application because, again, she doesn't have legal representation. Now, how is that going to proceed?
Well, that's a problem. The onus is on the person who's applying for a presiding officer or a chairperson to recuse himself or herself. If she's not in a position to make an application, there's no recusal application. She indicated that she wrote a letter instead of an application to say, please recuse yourself. I got that letter 10 minutes before 10, before we started. I'll have a look at it and I'll respond appropriately to that letter. But as we stand, I think she confirmed that I should not expect anything at 1 o'clock as a way of an application for recusal. I don't know whether they are no longer on that issue now or what has happened.
Have you ever sat in any meeting with the former cabinet minister, the late Joemat Pettersson, as well as the ANC chief whip, Ms. Pemmy Majodina, to actually find a way to extort her husband to make this inquiry go away? That's the argument that she is putting forward in terms of your recusal. Have you ever sat in a meeting with any of those two ANC leaders to discuss this extortion?
Well, I've said this before. I'm going to repeat it, and I maintain this point, that those scandalous allegations do not dignify a comment or even an interview from myself. They remain as such, and they would have laid charges to the police. They would have laid a complaint with the Joint Committee on Ethics. Those platforms, whenever I'm called upon to respond to those issues, I will avail myself to do that. But what I will not do is to give legs to, again, this deflection and delay kind of strategy and be entangled with some kind of imaginary scandalous allegations around my name. I am not dignifying it.
Now, she's promised the media that she will be issuing all these WhatsApp messages and audio recordings, well, after this hearing. I don't know whether it's still going to go ahead or not. Will you be found wanting, do you have any sense of apprehension if she does still go ahead with that threat?
There would be an apprehension if there was something I know that was existing. As things stand, I want to encourage them. If they've got pictures, they've got audio, they've got text, send them to the police where you've laid charges. Send them to the ethics committee, because if I'm called upon by those platforms, I will respond. I remain focused in doing my work, and there's just no amount of shenanigans, no blackmailing, no amount of humiliation or smear campaign that is going to veer me off from the task that I've been assigned to do. And as we meet today, and as I would have summarized, we're at the tail end of concluding that process. I'm not removing my eyes from the ball.
Quickly, are you confident that you will be able to finish this work before the term of office of the suspended public protector comes to an end?
I indicated here that everything else that I gave as a way forward has to happen. There's time and money. It has to happen within the 22 days. Our revised program takes us to 28 July. We have no intentions to go beyond. If we're able to do it before 28th of July, that's the last date. We also have no intentions to spend any more money than the 4 million that we have, because this is a removal process. The National Assembly has already started the process to appoint the next and the new public protector. I happen to be part of that ad hoc committee. We'll be very busy in July and August about interviews for the next public protector. So there'll be no time. To come October, we should be done by this. Come October, there would have to be a notice for a new public protector who would have been interviewed appointed through interviews.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Qubudile Dyantyi, the chairperson of the Section 194 inquiry. On that note, Nzinga, we'll cross back to you in studio.